There's a go live button. I thought the timer would have actually just like gone live. I'm gonna hit the go live button.
Yeah.
There, makes sense. I don't know why though. The timer should have been set for like 2 minutes ago. Okay, can you guys hear me now? It should be live now. Is it working
Yeah, I can hear you.
on YouTube? Right? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right,
I don't understand why this is so complicated every month.
it shouldn't be that
We should
complicated.
have this down by now.
Nah, it's just me. It's a problem with me. All right, let's get started. All right, I'm gonna play the
I
music.
was gonna say, this is a thing that we've always had.
All right. Let's keep going. All right. So I'm gonna start the music and then we'll get going. All right. Hey guys, we're here to bring you another episode of the KHODDcast, where we wrap up the events for May. Today on the show we have Hate, Ogre, Doom, and Loot, and possibly Kage later. We'll see. So say hi, guys.
Hey guys.
Ew.
Guys,
Feels so good to be back.
Sweet. All right. Actually, now that Doom's here, why don't we just start with a little chit chat with Doom and everyone else? Let's do some quarantine life check-in since that's our reality now. So, Doom, how's your quarantine life?
My dog thinks it's weird that everyone's home at the same time. You know, eating way too much food, not going outside enough, so the usual. Really not much has changed for me personally.
All right, sounds good. Next thing probably want to check on is Loot. How's your situation?
Well, I feel great. I'm
Great.
all better.
Cool.
I feel fantastic. Spending a lot of time with my family.
Uh-huh.
My work situation is no different. So, like, for me, quarantine life is very similar to regular life because I never leave the house anyway.
Oh yeah.
I work from home. I just never leave. So it's not all that different for me.
So basically,
But really enjoying the time that I get to spend with my kids. We've been taking nice walks and bike rides and stuff like that. Just
That's-
avoiding people in general.
that's cool. So you're turning them into you.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. How about Ogre? How are things on your end?
We're doing good. Not much has changed. I'm essential, so
Yeah.
work hasn't really changed much. We're starting to get back to normal production levels of, customers and stuff. So that's because California's starting to open back up a little bit, so we'll see what happens here in the next couple weeks
Cool.
with that. Home life itself, I've wanted to strangle my girls the last couple of days, but, that's life.
But we haven't gotten there, right? We haven't gotten there yet.
No, there's just been a lot of yelling. It's not really,
It's okay.
but they're over. They're over with Grandma today, so
Okay,
it's fine.
that's good. Alrighty. Hey, how is life on the PPP side of things? Because I think you and I are feeling it.
yeah, we start the forgiveness portions.
Oh yeah.
That's.
hmm Are you in
I took
round?
this week off.
Are you in round 2 or round 3?
Oh yeah, done pretty much. I don't
Yeah.
think we're gonna take any new ones anymore.
Yeah.
But 100,000+ are plenty.
Yeah.
Oh,
For-
I took this week off. Did some hiking,
yeah.
a bunch of ticks, on the dog, and a couple on me.
It's fair
Didn't
enough.
catch some Lyme disease. Other than that, quarantine. I mean, I work from home for the next couple months, which
hmm
not fun. But after, like, but you couldn't tell like coronavirus is even going on in Florida anymore. Like everything
Yeah.
seems normal.
Oh yeah, that's
Or there's a few places closed here and there.
yeah.
Everything else pretty much the same. Normal. Like nobody wears masks, nobody cares. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's pretty good.
We always sat outside with our dog when we would go out to eat anyway. Like usually pick restaurants we can bring them. So it's nice that some of the restaurants we don't usually go to because we can't bring them up are all accepting outdoor seating.
Oh, that's nice.
So that part's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
So that's an advantage.
We're excited about that.
That's a good change, positive.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope they keep that.
All right. So I mean, for those of you guys who don't know, I think Haight and I we work in the financial industry. In my case, I'm in fintech and he's in banking. So yeah, and we're in like phase 2 or phase 3 of rolling out PPP loans. So that's been my life for the last like month and a half. So yeah, super busy with work. Super busy with work. And then our CEO announced even after COVID is over, we now have the option to work from home permanently. And that also gets me thinking, like, are they going to do away with our offices? I'm wondering about that. Because I think, hey, you and I are like...
Well, I think a lot of company are.
Yeah, I think you and I are the type of people that would want to go into the office as much as we can. Like, what's the point of working from home if you have the choice, right?
I hate it.
I understand.
My job will never be permanently work from home, thankfully, but
Yeah.
um,
I mean, in your case, you actually have to interface with people on like a regular basis, right? Mine, it depends on the
kinda.
department you work on, right? But, anyways, all right. I mean, I guess we had the full crew check in. Let's get going. All right, so let's start with just main characters. So, what do we think about Metallo and Parasite, and then the reworks for Soups and Martian Manhunter? Let's start with Metallo and Parasite. So, I guess let's start with you. What do you think about the two new guys this month?
I know most people don't like Metallo, but I love him. And the more I play him, the more I regret not getting enough shards to take him RB5. Because I find myself using him even more than Donna Troy anymore. And granted, don't get me wrong, people, Donna Troy is a significantly better character. The weird stun comps that I want to run, Metallo just fits a little better because he does the AoE purge, which I need to get my stuns off. And he dies pretty easy, especially to like Rebirth Lexes. But I have him Rebirth 1, and I'm going to take him Rebirth 2 in the relative near future. Waiting to see if I'm going to RB5 Circe or not. Or maybe even Artemis, because Sergey's kind of gave up on his Bay. But she stuns, so she's a special damage red, so she might meet my criteria. But either way, I really like Metallo. I mean, he's not a great character. I think we voted him a C on the tier list. I personally think he's a B character because he does a decent amount of stuff. Pretty useful this raid too. But Parasite, he's not bad. Boring. I mean, he's a good tanky character. But I don't know. He doesn't really do anything for me. I don't see myself ever using him again personally.
Yeah, I see what you mean there. I think you were talking about Artemis for a second there. We're going to talk about her a little bit later. But okay, let's get on with the two new characters. What do you guys think about, let's see, Ogre, what do you think about Metallo and Parasite? Have you played with any of them?
Yeah, no. Since I started over with the new account, Metallo has been a beast for me. I managed to get to L3 with my Gear 8 roster, so I was pretty happy with that. He's my first one up that high. But he's been a beast. He can tank hits thanks to the crit immunity at the start really nicely, whereas some of my other characters can't quite do that yet because they're like R5 or something. So like he's by far my strongest character currently, but it shows just how underrated he is when you have the whole roster compared to people who don't. He's actually really good for me.
Okay, sounds good.
Parasite, on the other hand, I don't have enough shards of him because I have like rank 3. So I have all his moves, but I don't have any of his passives, and he's kind of poo-poo.
That's fair. So we gotta get that working.
Gotta wait for the raids to be over and hopefully get enough.
Should probably get a good chunk more. We'll see here. Okay, Doom. So we haven't had you on in a while for the KHODDcast. So what do you think about the new characters?
So Metallo, he's a interesting character. I agree with Haight. I originally started out not liking him too much, but as the days have gone by, I'm like, you know what? There might be something here. I don't like the fact that it's percentage based against taunt, but it's, what can you do? But I don't know. I think he's a character that exists for a problem that doesn't exist yet. But I feel like eventually a character will come out where we'll all just unanimously be like, oh yeah, that's right, Metallo exists. Oh, this character's trash. As far as Parasite goes, he's a big old fat sack of health, and I don't know. I feel like he'll be good in the future, depending on how things go, but he's just not at the place he needs to be right now.
All right, sounds good. So far, so good. Loot, what are your assessment of the two new guys?
So Metallo, I don't like. I'm not a fan. He's just too squishy for a turn zero taunter for me. So I'm not really going to use him unless like I have pigeonholed into having to use him. Even in Siege, I really didn't use him. I find that he would pretty much die every time I wanted to use him. Parasite, I like how tanky he is. I like the steel. I like the purge that he can do. I don't like that one of his most important moves is 75%. I believe it should be 100%, because it really takes the usefulness away from him or the reason why you use him. But he's okay. So Metallo, I'm comfortable with the C that I gave him in the tier review, and Parasite. He's not terrible, but he's definitely not trash. But he's not great.
Alrighty, sounds good. For me, where I stand, I haven't really played with Metallo. He doesn't really feel like a character I'd like to play with. But for Parasite, basically most people are just saying he's a big chunk of health, and he's really tanky, and he's good for that. He works well with Lex because he can buff himself by stealing other people's buffs, so he works good against Lex and with Lex. But he's kind of like, I feel like, do we really need him? It's sort of like the position where I'm in. Like, there's not really a great way to build around him. I mean, you can, but it's not super interesting. But the thing I do like that I'm planning on building, especially when Artemis comes out, is basically a special all tank team, like a just big chunk of health team with Superman at the lead or something like that. So then you have and you have a good variety of affinities. If you have Parasite, Superman, Artemis, and let's say Chemo, for example, that you round out like a bunch of energies, Mystic, and you also have a nice hefty like red too. It's the first time you have a really good like special damage red with a big chunk of life. So that might be fun to play with at the end of next month. So we'll see. All right, let's move on to the reworks. What do you guys think of Superman and Martian Manhunter? I'm gonna get started with Superman, just because me, Superman, etc. But I feel like, the tweaks were good, even though they kind of flubbed him the first time around at the beginning of the month. But then, did we really need more? I really feel like he didn't change too much. He's slightly better than where he was before, but there wasn't a huge improvement overall, I feel. I feel like they needed to really go to do something drastic on him for him to be a much better tier character, but I don't think it sort of changes where he was in the tier list. Martian Manhunter, on the other hand, they really did good by him. So I feel like he's really top tier. If not S tier, definitely high A. So let's start with Loot this time. What do you think about the reworks?
The reworks.
Superman,
Martian Manhunter's amazing.
Uh-huh.
Really good character. I actually took him to RB2, and I don't think he even needed it. I think I wasted a little bit on him because I don't think he actually needed it. Like he's good without any rebirths. I mean, RB1 if you want, but again, he really didn't need it. It just doesn't quantify for him. And then Superman, I'm not a fan at all. There are a few people in my alliance that absolutely love his rework. I am not one of them. I think he is still garbage. So, doesn't fit my playstyle. I just don't like him. I'll leave it at that.
That's fair. Well, since you talked about your alliance, why don't we talk to Hate about the reworks? What do you think, Hate?
Oh, Martian Manhunter, absolutely amazing. Great character. I'm gonna farm enough shards for RB5. It's my stun comp, gives me
Okay.
20% increase, so of course that's huge advantage to him. Superman, I actually like Superman a lot. Didn't think I would. I hate facing him. He's super annoying, but he's extremely good at what he does. Granted, he calls the whip, but for tanky, crazy, annoying teams, you can make those, and there needs to be characters like that. Granted, I kind of wish Superman was or super of a Superman level character. They made him a little ridiculous for a little while at least, but I'm fine with him the way he is. He's definitely significantly better than he was. And he has a niche now, which is being a super annoying tank team. Hopefully, as they release more annoying gear characters as time progresses, can't get nuked out of the gate,
Yep.
whipped out of the gate, or survive the whip at least.
Yep.
He'll find a bigger and bigger place. But I think he's pretty good. I like him.
Cool.
Be happy with him.
Alrighty. So then let's go to Doom. What do you think about the reworks?
So Martian Manhunter, obvious, absolute god tier rework. Like this is chef's kiss, perfect. The kind of stuff I live for. Like they did this with Lex, both of them, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's the stuff, right? Like it's that Vince McMahon meme where it's like AW Lex rework. Oh yeah, support suit Lex rework. Woof, and then the Martian Manhunter one is me just falling back in the chair. It's so good. This character's insane. He works well with basically all of my comps, or really, you could just slap him in wherever. This character's a beast. As far as Superman goes, originally, and let me tell you, DP, I want with every fiber of my being not to like Superman. I've had him like Rebirth 5 capable forever because of stuff from the past that, there are those tournaments, Superman rewards, all that good stuff. But man, I cannot hate on this Superman. Like, I was coming in thinking I'm about to end this Superman's whole career, but in fact, he is phenomenal. I like him. I like what they did with him. And he's very annoying. And if freaking Wonder Girl didn't exist, he'd probably be a top tier. But considering who we have coming in next month, I think he might actually even further establish his niche in the meta.
So what do you mean by for people coming in next month? Do you mean that he's going to be good against, let's say, Artemis? Is that what you mean?
Of course, and not only Artemis, but the people you would want to pair with Artemis are going to be people that Superman would love to fight against. Like,
Interesting.
let me tell you, I've already theory crafted Artemis and other stuff. We'll get to that later. Don't get me started now.
Cool. All right. Sounds good. Ogre, what are you feeling on the reworks then? Oops.
I haven't really had a chance to play with them yet. I did play with Soups a little bit because I had finished the campaign just before his week started.
I don't hear Ogre.
Oh,
See him lighten up, but I don't hear him.
I can hear him.
I can
you
hear
hear
him.
me?
Might just be you hate.
Can you hear me?
All right.
I can hear you
we can
fine.
hear
Go
you.
ahead, Ogre.
Okay, just keep going. All right.
All right. Anyway, Superman I had a chance to play with a little bit because I managed to unlock him right before his week. He's been okay, like especially at low gear. Like he's just not. I haven't like finished upgrading his skills or anything, so he was okay. I haven't really had a chance to play with him that much. And then Martian Manhunter, I just got with his PvP week, so I haven't really tested it at all yet. And I think I'm a little bit shy of Legendary even for it, so I don't know if I will. We'll see.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, did you catch the end of that with what Ogre was saying? Were you able to hear him? Hey, you're muted in case you're trying to talk. Never mind. All right, well, he just left. All right, let's just keep going. Okay, so we went over the characters for May. So far, I think everyone has kind of like a good feeling for Martian Manhunter. So Soup's kind of like here and there. I kind of feel that's where he is as a character too right now. Let's get back into the other topics. So, what do we think about the siege that just passed? So for Parasite, so how did the Parasite siege go for you? Did you guys like the bonus characters or anything like that? Let's start with Doom. What do you think?
Probably the worst person to start with, really, because I don't take Siege as seriously as most people.
No, fair enough.
But this time around, I did want to run my experiment about how far I could get without using any bonus characters whatsoever, and actually made it pretty high up there, surprisingly. Not as high as I'd want, mind you. I didn't buy any energy, but just going free-to-play mode, it's not bad.
All right, that's fair. It's an interesting topic. I'll actually diverge a little bit from that. So you're talking about your don't use any bonus character strategies, which is not a strategy I would always recommend for people who want to do well in Siege. But there is something to be said about that. So for people who have, for example, limited rosters, so if you're a new player and you're just starting out, and then you may not have the bonus characters geared out, you don't absolutely have to have them, unless your goal is to get really high ranked in Siege. If you're just trying to place as high as you possibly can, I think the most important thing is just to get those wins. So if you can do that with the amount of characters that you have ranked up, just do that. No point to really go all out, and then you're just trying to gear out a character that you're never going to touch again later, right? So there's something to be said about that. Ogre, how did the Siege go for you?
Well, I came into it a little bit late. Because I didn't really switch over to this being my main account until partway through the month. I decided, the Gear 11 one, my original account, Ogre Barbarian, is not as fun as it used to be. So I switched over about halfway through this month to the low-level account being my main account, and that's when I finally hit Siege pretty hard, and I got up to 400-something trophies in that time. So, not bad. I look forward to next month doing a little better, but I have enough to unlock Parasite, but I didn't have enough to make me usable. So as far as it went, for what I did, I feel good about it.
I would expect Siege to be relatively scaled too, based on your level and your and your power level, right? So it's not crazy or anything, right?
Yeah, no, everybody that I faced was within my wheelhouse. I never saw anybody outside of it, so... But again, I was fairly low also, so if I had come out of the gate early with you guys, maybe that would have been a different story. I'm not sure. I'll find out next month here.
All right.
A lot of people are asking you, Ogre, what are you going to do with that low-level account? Are you going to keep it Gear 8, or what's your plan?
I think I'm going to hit Gear 9 probably after this raid, but I'm not 100% sure yet. But I don't want to go past Gear 9, I think. I think I want to stick around there. Because I feel like, as a group of podcasters, we have kind of a big gap.
Yeah.
We do cover some newbie stuff, and we do cover a lot of endgame stuff. And I feel like there's this big gap in the middle there that I kind of want to fill. And I feel like that Gear 9, Gear 8 is really where we want to be at with that. So I'm going to try and stick around in that area and see if we can make content for that.
Yeah, that's fair. So basically... what I was thinking about in terms of gear set or gear, what's the word here? Gear sets? Yeah, well, gear levels. We talked about this a very long time ago when I think around Gear 11 came out, and maybe up to about half a year after that. And then, so the idea here is that if you have to choose between going to Gear 9 to Gear 10, most of the time, if you can, it is a big jump. You should probably go to Gear 10. And it will give you a significant advantage. However, there is something to be said about the jump between Gear 10 to Gear 11. That jump is huge. It's very, very significant. So it's going to change your red alerts. It's going to change your PvP a lot because your power ranking is going to spike. So based on the amount of people that you're going to run up against in PvP, they're going to be a lot more difficult. So there's a very good chance that you're going to come up against teams that you're not able to handle. So you're going to be prepared to lose a lot of battles and maybe have to just give up on some of the PvP stuff and refresh your screen until you can get battles that you can beat. Even for me, I remember when Gear 11, when it came out, that was the case for me too. And going from Gear 10 to Gear 11 in terms of resources, it's a huge drop off. So for people who are thinking about making that jump, make sure that you're prepared. So basically, you have enough to take at least a couple of characters at the same time to Gear 11. Maybe take one first and then you wouldn't want to go like 2 or 3 or 4, like one after another. Probably be ready to have like a whole Gear 11 team ready to go and then do the jump together, if that makes sense.
If I might chime in, I actually did some looking into on this because I was curious, and it would cost people roughly, starting from absolutely nothing and going up, somewhere in the area of 15 to 20,000 gems if you were to go from Gear 0 level 1 to Gear 11 level 70 on a single character.
Yeah, right. So, yeah,
Loud.
yeah, that's a lot of gems. So, on that note, let's get back to the Parasite Siege. So, Loot, how was your siege?
My performance was terrible. I lost. This might have been my worst siege as a player. I lost a lot of fights, a lot of careless mistakes. I really didn't take a lot of preparation time like I usually do. I was just kind of like annoyed all month. I was like, screw this. And I would just go in and I wouldn't really think about it. And I put virtually no strategy into it and just sucked. It was terrible.
Oh, okay. Well, that does
I think
happen.
I finished top 20, but I was terrible personally.
Well, I mean, I guess we did squeak into that. So that's pretty good. Hey, I think you were doing pretty good on the ladders. When I was looking at your rankings, how was your siege?
Oh no.
No?
This is my worst siege
How was it?
by a long shot. In fact, I had to buy to get back into 50.
Okay.
Usually I can do 60 without buying any packs. And I kept, problem was as much as I like Metallo, he just got obliterated by Martian Manhunter every time. And a lot of people rebirth the Martian Manhunters, and then the funny thing is when you're in the higher ranks of Siege, like when you're in the top 20, you fight more bonus teams. When you're lower, everybody just uses whatever the hell they want. And at times, if you decide you're going to bring bonus characters as well, it doesn't go so well. And you always underestimate Cassandra Cain. Stupid Katana never, ever, 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 ever crits. So she just, it's the person, does like 10% of their damage and then dies. I don't know. Like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I like Loot. I didn't really care about the siege. I wasn't that excited about Parasite, and I wasn't worried. I'm not going to rebirth him, so I already bought one pack of his. So I figured, L5 I'll get from between the raid shards and everything else. I wasn't worried about it. Next month I might participate. Just really like the characters and it'd be fun. And I might RB5 Circe, so that'd make it fun to annoy people in the 20. So
it's all right.
We'll see. I don't like Croc as a bonus character though, but we're gonna get into that shortly. So I guess.
So when it comes to this siege, I actually liked it a lot. I'm one of those people who was really excited for the rework characters. So Martian Manhunter and Soups were characters I was playing with all the time. Parasite, by the time I got him his pack out and I played him at like L5 or R5 rather when he was available. He was all right at that point, but then I found myself deferring a lot to my slow team. I felt my slow team actually worked very good, although it only gave me one bonus character in Martian Manhunter. But I feel like people, well, you just said like Cassandra Cain. People underestimate Cassandra Cain all the time, and then she's one of the characters I hate the most playing because she like just puts so much bleeds on everybody, and you could never hit her until like she's always the last person there, and you'll always probably lose a character to her because of all this bleed she stacks up. But then at the same time, I feel like we didn't really know how good Martian Manhunter was until like we started really rolling with him, and he was just like destroying people because he does so much damage now. But yeah, we were talking about him earlier before, so that's all right. Okay, so let's move on to June. Before June, let's talk about the raid that's currently ongoing, and let's talk about the skins. So first of all, let's talk about last month's skins. We had what? What was his name? Larfleeze, and who is the other pack? Who is the pack character? Oh, it's Star Sapphire. And then this month we have Blue Flash, and we have President Lex Luthor. So I think Ogre, you're excited to talk about these, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the community at whole was really excited because, from what I can tell, from what everybody's saying, people are going nuts for that top 500 for Flash right now.
Yeah.
And the Sexy Lexi skin, it makes him Sexy Lexi. Like, President Lex is one of those skins that I've kind of always wanted since they gave out the idea of skins. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. He's also the first one that's not an actual palette swap, and it actually is a new skin. So, like, really kudos on that. Really kudos on that one. So,
I like the art too. He does look a lot like anything from the comic books or the animated series. He looks pretty good. I like.
Yeah, no, he's straight out from the.
Like that wrist thing, that controller thing that he has too. That's cool too. I like that.
Yeah, I like the effect that they got on that.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Blue Flash though, man.
People are going nuts.
If you're,
it's like we have Lantern fans or something around here.
For the last couple of raids, I was like really pushing hard to get into the top 200 to get the is it top 200 or top 500? Top 500.
500.
Top 500 to get the skin. And I'm just like, I saw Blue Flash, and I'm like, nope, not happening. I'm not a huge Flash fan nor Lantern fan, so I'm like, I'm not even going to try. But looks like Kage's here. Okay.
DP, you never try run raids anyway, so whatever.
I try just to squeak in, though. So.
Yeah, and then you complain, I can't get 500, can you please be a hacker?
Yeah. But yeah, well, let's talk about since you're here now, why don't you just tell us what you think about the skins?
Oh, actually, they're kind of cool. I think it's really awesome that they're fans of Oversea, because now I don't have to deal with people posting about Blue Lantern Flash anymore. And the President Lex Luthor skin was actually really cool, and I'm hoping we can get like a Bruce Wayne skin or maybe a Clark Kent skin.
That would be nice. I'd go in on that.
The Bruce Wayne or the Clark Kent?
Oh, either actually. I like both of them. Like,
yeah.
As characters, I mean, not as like Batman, Superman characters, as the human version of the characters. So I like that. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good idea.
And then, I actually rallied the community for like a Star Sapphire Wonder Woman skin. Yeah.
You mean put Wonder Woman?
She already has a skin, so.
You mean put Wonder Woman?
Pink Lantern Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Pink. Yeah.
Pink Wonder Woman, basically.
Oh, I see. So like a Sapphire version.
Violet
of Wonder
Lantern.
Woman. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
She was like that in Darkest Night. So.
Oh, okay. Actually, yeah. That actually does ring a bell.
That's something that I know that I was talking to Du Bois, and I was like, maybe they're not going to introduce all these new lanterns, but we could definitely get like a Yellow Lantern Scarecrow. I was mentioning Blue Lantern Flash, which that came true. So, but I've talked to Du Bois about this. How do we get lanterns without getting lanterns? And skins was the best way to do it that I could see. Like a Red Lantern Supergirl would be cool.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Even though she's kind of not a great character at the moment, but the skin would be super cool.
Yeah.
But like they have tons of characters that they already have in the game that have been lanterns due to the Blackest Night storyline. So it would be really nice to see some of that.
I thought they were going to finish up the Black Lantern skins too, because they have almost all of them like Black Lanterns already. We just need like a few more, like Jon Stewart and so on and so forth, right? But
so boring though, the Black Lantern skins. I'm so much happier with this Lex and Blue Flash. I mean, I saw those. I was like, oh, these are real new skins, not just a color swap. I mean, Nightwing was really good, and so was the other Superman. But I'm really excited with what they're doing with skins. Like now that I've seen people that have been really good, they kind of set the bar pretty high. So like next month, if it's just a black skin of some lame character, then it'd be
like the first couple skins were just kind of like, oh, okay.
Transit looked cool as Black Lantern. Like he was the one that
but like
really
White Raven. Good. White Raven was literally a palette swap, and it was just like
she looked awesome. So I was okay with that one.
She did, and I'm a fan, but
I'm still waiting for a black suit Superman. Like, although the last Superman skin was technically black suit, but it's like
I don't like that Superman skin at all. He looks like an old. I don't know. He just looks bad.
I need to do Skin
Not
change for
good.
Jay, so he doesn't look like a decrepit old man.
I want the
Yeah,
black solar suit Superman.
his skin's terrible.
I want the black solar suit Superman with the mullet. That's what I want.
With the mullet.
You know what I mean, right? It's like the one when he comes back and then he's like he's got like that whole long flowing hair. So yeah, that I mean it's kind of like a meme, but hey Doom, how do you feel about the skins? Since everyone's kind of chiming in.
Well, you already know I instantly bought the Lex Luthor skin because as far as the Blue Flash skin, I'm kind of sad he's not his own character, but I'm happy for the people that are excited about it. I never really do raids, so I'm not gonna really have it, but whatever. I'm raiding for my team. Gotta get those rebirth crystals.
Sounds good. All right. So I think we pretty much went over all the skin talk for now. Let's go over to the June characters. So we got our previews and we got like the kits and the gear set information up for Circe and Artemis, and we had the reworks already live for Hippo and Cheetah. Let's start with the reworks then. So there's a lot of controversy around Cheetah's blood in the air. Let's start with that. And Ogre, you're one of our experts with Cheetah since you've used her so much before in the past. So what do you think about Cheetah and Hippo?
I think they look good on paper.
Yeah.
Definitely look good on paper. And the little bit of play that I did do with Cheetah before I switched over to the newbie account, because I hopped over to my main old account, just a little bit, just to see what Cheetah was, and whoo, buddy, I was thoroughly impressed. But at the same time, she's still very squishy, so be aware and protect her.
Yeah. All right. So
I really like that they gave her purges.
There was that whole thing with blood in the air, though. That's bugged, right?
Yes, the blood in the air specifically is okay. Whether or not it was a bug when it would be used as leadership and then not go on cooldown. Whether or not that was a bug, we're not 100% sure. They did change it, though, so that it is supposed to go on cooldown. However, there is currently a bug that if you have it on auto, it'll do it twice anyway, because the game just like, wait, what? But it's not the first time we've seen characters do that. Characters with buff moves, for whatever reason, on auto, sometimes they'll use a double buff in a row, and they're not supposed to be able to do that. I know Blue Beetle stands out as one that can do it. So nobody cares about him, though, so... But yeah, like, it's one of those things that this is not exactly a new type of bug. It's just they have to root out what it is that's causing it. So it might take a little bit for them to fix. We'll see. I'm hoping it gets fixed before the siege.
I'm guessing you also didn't really tool around with Hippo, did you?
No, I took her in a couple times just to see what all... And it felt nice. Like, okay. I really like the idea of her on an assist comp. Where other characters can hopefully call her as an assist to reset her skills, so that she's never using her basic, and you're just constantly buffing or using her assist call. Like, that seems like it could be really, really silly.
That sounds fun. Yeah. All right. Let's go with Luke. What do you think about the reworks for next month? Cheetah and Hippo.
I think they're both good. Preliminary usage, they both seem good. I don't know how good yet, but good. I have no complaints about either character.
All right.
And I did really enjoy the double blood in the air the first 3-4 days that it was available. It was fun. Insane. I mean, you talk about something that's a bug versus was it not. All I can tell you is it was fun.
All right. Sounds good.
It was enjoyable.
Yeah, that's what 6 strength ups and 40% turn meter will do.
I mean, I wasn't even it was more than 6 for the comps I was using. I would get Red Hood by the time he got his turn, he had like 12.
Jeez.
He would do 1 AoE, and then the entire enemy team was dead. It was so fun.
Jeez.
I was like, this is the best.
It's interesting. Now,
yeah, you just like.
So for a bleed team, do you think who would be a better leader right now? This is sort of like a tangent, but Cheetah or Red Hood?
I think it really depends on how the team itself is set up. In general, I still think Red Hood is the best bleed team leader.
Oh, interesting.
But that's because his leadership skill is very oppressive.
Okay, I'd like to
Once
against
you
other
get
speed.
the condition, once you get the condition, Red Hood becomes just a god.
Okay,
But you have to get to that condition. That's the thing.
I'd like to get Doom's input on
Cheetah
this.
Cheetah is one of those ones that her leadership, the way it works, it's very percentile based. So it'll be interesting to see how it works. But if you're going with a fast comp where you have like Cheetah, Siren, Black Manta, like those kind of characters that want to just go fast and stack a billion bleeds, those are probably going to take more benefit of it. So we'll see.
So that's a good assessment. Now Doom, now give me two perspectives in a vacuum and then overall between Cheetah versus Red Hood.
I mean, man, it's kind of hard to follow up Ogre just spilling out the entire history of how bleed teams work.
I'm sorry, I can't help
it. It's one of those things. Cheetah's definitely better in terms of if you want your characters to do X, then choose Cheetah. But I'd say, obviously, generally as a whole, considering that Red Hood's probably one of the three main big people in the game, you would want Red Hood for most things. But, also PvP is kind of an arms race who can do what faster. So Cheetah's got a leg up there, I guess. But
yeah. Well,
it's one of those things. In a vacuum, I would say Red Hood is better just because his leader is stupid, busted. But Cheetah's okay, I guess. But in terms of actual context included, Cheetah would be better for certain things, and Red Hood would be better for most other things, I would say.
Fair enough. Sounds good to me. Kage, what do you think about Hippo? I'm sure you love Hippo's rework, right?
I like it not because she's an Amazon, because I never really cared for the character.
Wow. Not even asking me about Hippo?
Oh, I'm gonna come back around.
Wow.
Sorry, my bad.
Wow.
Yeah, Doom is more into taller women than I am. I like
Wow.
I like muscular women. I don't know about tall women, but muscular women, yeah. Anyway, no, I've always thought that kit had a lot of potential because you're giving access to offense or defense buffs, but before the rework it was just so weak, like 15% of Terminator or whatever. The call assist was cool, and that was the only thing about her kit that was appealing. But they gave her a new basic, which is awesome. Leadership, I don't know what they could have done. Either make it a passive or something else, but whatever. The leadership is whatever. The rest of the kit is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cheetah, I thought on paper would have been busted because 3 strengths up at the start of a match is god damn. But the more I play on, the more I'm like, oh, whatever. It's one turn, whatever.
Right. Alrighty. So
going back to
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it. What were you saying? Going back to what?
I was just gonna go pass the ball back to Doom, but if you're gonna ask something.
Actually, that was exactly what I was gonna do too. So pass the ball back to Doom to Hippo.
Oh, okay. Now it's my turn. Now, first you interview the man who killed her, and then you interview the man who loved her. I understand.
So what is so I'm guessing you love the hippos.
Well, she's got that big mommy energy, and I'm all about it. So, but yeah, no, Hip is just really good right now. I don't want to say that she's like S tier or anything, obviously, because she's not, because her leader is still kind of meh. I wonder whose fault that is.
She might be.
But I mean, in terms of when you would want to slot her into your team, there's really no reason not to do it, because she has what? 1 turn cooldown Blood in the Air, basically, that gives stun immunity. She has Dr. Fate's shield, only with fewer buffs, so you have less chance of getting whipped, and it purges. You have an assist call on par with Nightwings that you could just reset the cooldown on by using your 1/1, so that's essentially a 1-turn cooldown. And then her basic is, I mean, it's not great, obviously, but you don't use it because it's great. You use it because everything else is great. She's she's really sturdy. They buffed up her stats nicely. She can actually take a punch now, kind of. I'm super satisfied with it. I can't wait to actually slap her on a bunch of teams because I love those buff comps.
Yep.
But also, I love those 6'5" and above lady comps. So
Alrighty. I see where we're going.
So all I heard was Frosted Flakes. They're great.
Oh, we know that Kage didn't like her because she'd already graduated high school, and Doom likes her because she's the older woman. So
Both ends of the spectrum. Okay, I see.
That was just a Matthew
Wow.
McConaughey joke. Come on,
Alright.
don't tell me you haven't seen that movie.
Just stay the same age.
Oh man.
And Doom,
Oh,
Doom, we
man.
were talking in private, and you were talking, mad crap about like how no one would ever use Hippolyta because of those shields. And I'm like, then now you were talking about how Dr. Fate shields are awesome. The hell?
Well, her.
you guys have been all over the map on these. Kage first said she'd be great, doesn't matter, we don't need S tier. Then went crazy that she needs to be better. And then he didn't like her before she came out. Now he loves her. You're
To be
really.
fair, Kage wants to make everybody S tier or they're garbage.
he's been so manic this month.
I feel like that's like the voice of Reddit, though. But so. we might as well just make Reddit. We might as well just make Kage our mod. So at this point.
So wait to see what he
don't
says
even
about-
start with Reddit and the Superman crap. I'm tired of
God.
it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, no,
I'm
done.
waiting to hear what Kage says about Artemis now versus when he's or later.
I'm gonna say,
I'm gonna save sound clips from this episode for next one.
all right.
Okay. Here's
It's a good
here's my
segue.
hot
We're
take.
We're moving into that anyways. Yeah, go for it.
Here's my hot take. It's a lot of crit gimmicks. So as long as you have like Aquaman or Donna Troy, Artemis would be bleh.
Okay. All right.
how is that a hot take?
Like, that's
I don't
just
know.
an observation.
He's
Yeah.
he's
Okay,
saying that she's gonna be
my hot
bad.
take is
Lukewarm statement here. Let me tell you.
Okay, we thought actually Hey was gassing up Ravager and Owlman. Yeah, we're gonna get some S tier characters next month, and they come out.
Dude.
That's so
Hey.
underwhelming.
Owlman is god tier in raids. I'll have you know. Thank you very much. Yeah, Ravager, I don't care about. Whatever, who cares? But Owlman, you slap that man on the team, you're getting some damage.
Okay.
I still think
You know.
so that we had that question
Actually,
last
Hippo's
month
better
about
this
how to increase your damage in raids, and I think crit ups is one that we bypassed and we missed.
All right. I mean, well, okay. So we have our lukewarm statement on on Artemis. What do we think about Circe at least then? So Kage, you want to talk about Circe a little bit?
I don't know. It could go either way.
I was just waiting for you to say no.
But no,
She could be either really, really dumb, or the most unviable character we've seen.
Interesting.
Because you have a lot of characters that can punish revives now. If she was introduced during Deathstroke era, they would have gone after her too, and with the pitchforks. But now, I have no idea.
Interesting. So Doom, it sounded like you had something to say about Circe.
actually, I have something to say about both of them, but
All right, sure, go for it.
no tepid utterances here from this guy. They're all hot takes. Artemis is going to change the way the game is played. I am convinced of this because not only does she have an entirely new, unique mechanic that is basically only her mechanic at this point that could change the way entire matches go, but in addition to that, I have
Do you
a feeling
care to
this is
elaborate?
going to be bad.
What is that? What mechanic is that? What are you talking about?
So no other character in the entire game is able to launch an actual damaging attack at the start of game. Not a single other person can do it.
You mean without doing anything? So like you don't even get your turn yet, and boom, she attacks.
Yes. So at start of
Okay.
game with her 5th legendary, she gets to run up and slap someone in the face, right? And of course Kage, with all of his infinite wisdom, is like, "Oh, the damage is probably gonna be crap." Yeah. And I'm like, "Shut up, Kage.
Dude,
You know what?
Reddit is going to explode as soon as that one hit KOs somebody.
Exactly. You know what? People are gonna be like, "Oh man, cheetah, 6 strength up, 40% turn meter, blah blah," and then freaking Artemis is gonna come in, completely toe tag that cheetah, and then her blood in the air is not even gonna trigger, and it's like, "Oh, so busted. 10 out of 10. WB, please nerf new Wonder Girl? Question mark? 3-3." Like, obviously no, but
I love doing
Also-
controversy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong.
it's
If
it's
that
one of those
happens,
things.
that will happen.
If her damage is decent, and I'm talking not even like it doesn't even need to be one-shotting Wonder Girl decent, just decent enough, then she's going to be a character that you are going to need to either bring or consider pointing against. Because if she's able to actually conventionally one-shot non-tanky blues or deal enough damage to where you could set up, like, say, a Huntress, or say if you have a Cheetah or whatever on your side, you could kill that character lickety-split, then it's going to be a done deal. If you can bring someone within range to get killed by CAGA's multi-shot, that's a character that is going to be on everyone's mind. As far as Circe goes, she's going to be unviable trash. No one's going to use her. Huntress and Etrigan exist, and it's just like, if you can make Etrigan viable, then that's pretty bad. You probably shouldn't exist. So, expecting her to get reworked in the future, maybe 3 months from now.
Alrighty. Jesus.
That's the biggest hot take I've ever heard. Damn.
Yeah.
But she will be viable in PvE. New players can use her in the rosters, clear story mode.
Sounds
So good for her.
Let's hear from the Owls. We already heard from Kage, so Lud, what do you think?
It's always so hard to tell on paper how they're going to be. I feel like there's been so many characters where I've been like, oh my god, this character looks amazing on paper, and then you go to use them and they suck. Or the exact opposite. You think they're going to suck, and then they're like, whoa. Like Hippolyta. On paper, I thought she was going to be terrible. I was like, dude, this rework's terrible. And then I went to use her, and I was like, wow, what's going on? She's good. So, I mean, it's so hard. But if I were to base it, because no one's been able to use these characters yet, if I were to base it on paper, I think Artemis looks pretty good. And Circe looks like cancer. She looks like somebody that's going to be extremely annoying, bringing back people from the dead with no limitations. So, like, you're pigeonholed. You must bring a heal immunity character, or you're screwed. Like, you won't be able to win that fight.
You know what? No, I'm going to let you finish.
I think I'm done. I just don't have anything else to say. I mean,
I thought we were going to have a Kanye moment.
I don't know what she's going to really... It's just that Necromancer move just looks so broken.
Well, that's an interesting thing. Let's get a hot take on that one particular move then. So, how would that compare to, or maybe pair with, what's his name, Atrocitus?
Give me the chance. Let me do
right.
this hot take. All right, are you ready?
Ready.
That move. Wait, can I swear on the podcast?
Prefer not to.
Try not to.
Okay.
Use your
that-
PG-13 language.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? No, the move is trash. Necromancy is an absolute garbage ability, and it's a waste of. Do you know why?
Why?
I'm waiting to hear.
You get to be revived at 10% health with permanent rage with 0% turn meter against a team that can actually move. And the idea of, there's no limits. Circe is a paper towel. You can kill her. Like,
Wow.
this whole idea of, like, what about Atrocitus? What about Atrocitus? You actually have to be able to make a move if you're going to take use of Atrocitus. And the whole idea of, like, they might get damage immunity. 50% chance for damage immunity. So what? So it comes to their turn. They swing once, possibly hit something, but probably just hit something with awareness. And then they immediately fall over. That's not even mentioning that Huntress will just sit there hunting them like ducks in a pond. Etrigan gets, 105, 135% turn meter whenever they revive. There's like 8 billion characters that get benefits when enemies are revive. Basically anything that has
Love
a
Doom's
kill effect.
over number.
Like, forget heal
I love that
immunity.
Doom is on the Etrigan train now.
No, not even the Etrigan train. Etrigan can finally have a moment to shine, and I'm happy for him. There's nothing I've wanted more than for Etrigan to be a half-decent character, and this might be... But...
DP,
like,
make sure you save me
man.
some time for these two characters. I have
yeah.
lots of- lots of comments.
Sure. Oh my god.
Like,
Keep
no
going.
joke. Forget heal immunity. I don't even need heal immunity. I could list off the top of my head like 5 characters that do not have heal immunity that would absolutely body any Circe team any day of the week. Hands down, that pretty much everyone has. Black Adam off the top of my head. Oh man, you revived more people? Cracks knuckles, great. Phenomenal. Perfect. Chef's kiss. Parasite. Oh, you brought back a bunch of people? Guess I'll just int up real quick. Feels so good. You know? World's Greatest Detective Batman. Oh man, a whole team of damage immunity. Oh, and now it's gone. What a shame. Like, Banshee. Banshee. Team full of immunities.
You can't say Banshee. She has heal immunity.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. She does have heal immunity. I forgot because I don't use Banshee. No one does. But
she's freaking amazing. Shut up.
But nobody uses her. He's right.
100% hot take.
I used to use her all the time.
So
It's like,
You are not the general player, Ogre.
I am not. There is a small
Troy.
following of us.
Donna
The
Troy's
Cult of
like,
Blood.
oh man, an entire team of revived people would be a shame if their attacks did 0 damage. Oh wait, they do 0 damage. Whoops. Dr. Freeze. Dr. Freeze is like, oh man,
Mr.
a whole
Freeze.
team of
You call him Dr. Freeze?
He's a doctor. You didn't
This
know.
is not
He's a
Mr.
doctor.
Pepper.
He's technically a
He has
doctor,
his
though.
PhD.
He does have a PhD.
Yeah, I understand he's technically a doctor.
You know,
But
Big
no!
Booty Barda is a thing. Doom,
Okay.
Big Booty Barda is a thing. They revive with like 5, 10 stamina, permanent stamina. Come on.
Okay, I feel
Oh
like.
no, trust me. I know.
All right, I've
talked
been-
about it.
Okay, we're
It's too
really,
bad that-
really.
Can
we're
we
getting-
stop?
We're getting
Can
really
we stop?
tangential here. All right, Hate wants to talk about
Sorry.
the new characters. Go for it, Hate.
First off, if you're gonna run Circe and you want to be really annoying, you just run Wonder Girl and Grundy. So you get the turn meter, and you don't care about turn meter with Wonder Girl because you're gonna have Enrage. You're gonna whip off anything that you need passively.
And you just yell, Grundy wants pants too.
Yeah, and then she punches everything into oblivion. I think that's going to be pretty nasty. But I don't even care about the revive. That's not the reason I'm excited for it. I'm excited for her because hoping her 30% chance to stun is more like Hawk Girl and not the 30% chance to stun that we see on Zam, which is never. So, and you have an AoE move that does turn meter down. So that automatically makes me like her. I figure even with my RNG, she's likely going to stun a few people, which would be fantastic. But I'm super excited for her. She's an RB5 candidate. I'm going to take her to L5, test her out for a while. She's really good, to be what I hope. Going RB5. And I'm torn between her and Artemis because I don't want to steal Kage's thunder, but she can one-shot somebody with her basic, and I might have to take her RB5 because I want you to have to bring a Taunter if you're running any of your blue characters. I just want them to get nuked out of the gate. If she's RB5, she might be able to nuke out even
Sorry, not
greens.
to interrupt. Just to bring up a thing so that people in the audience know. Due to ordering, if you are on the offense, her attack will actually occur before enemy characters can apply them.
Interesting.
Yeah, which that's really, really awesome. So that's why I'm kind of with Kage. I think it might be really low damage, so that has me a little concerned. But in the event that it's not, it's just like you said, somewhat respectable. He could be insane.
Okay.
She has a stun, so I'm excited.
I remember on
You know what,
paper,
I'm
Cassandra. Go ahead. Go ahead, Doom.
I'm excited for the concept of someone being like, oh man, Cersei's so broken. And then immediately afterwards, an Artemis one-shots her off the enemy team. And then they're like, oh my god, Artemis is broken.
You know, I can't wait to see what happens. But I was gonna say,
But Cassandra Cain.
nerf Artemis. No,
Oh.
Cassandra Cain. I thought was on paper really underwhelming, but then she stacks infinite evasion ups. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So gross.
annoying. But yeah.
We argued for so many can't miss characters, and everybody's all Cassandra K7. I'm like, you have 25 characters to pick from that can't miss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stop whining.
Cassandra Kane, what a joke. Let her smack into my chemo, get a doom stack, and die in 4 turns. You can't evade that.
Exactly.
Now, interesting thing. I'm just gonna interject from what people saying on YouTube. So they're just saying like, man, dude, this podcast is amazing. That was after like our whole like tirade with like or dooms back and forth with Kage and everyone else, and then Jim Golden on YouTube says, "I feel like he's nailing it, and yet everyone is interrupting him like kids." So you got lovers. You got some love out there, Doom.
You see, Kage, that's how you do a hot take. I'm out here cutting promos for these characters.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
WB, call me. I'm hireable.
All right, so in my language, what I'm hearing from you, Doom, is Artemis is awesome. Circe is trash. Back the truck up.
Exactly. Kage's like, oh yeah, I think Circe is. I'm like, nobody cares what you think. No, but seriously, Circe is trash. I'm going to stand by that 100%. If next month comes and she's like number 1 on the tier list, I will come on this podcast and I will roast you guys for the 8 months it took you to get Etrigan out of S tier until you finally realize that you're wrong and move her out of S tier.
I don't think Etrigan is S tier anymore, is he? Is he still S tier?
No, they finally kicked him out.
we
They
got
finally
rid of
realized
it.
that he's trash.
I think he just got like outshined by everybody else, but we'll see. Okay, let's keep on trucking. So let's see here. Where were we at? Oh, so we went over the characters. We have a couple of questions from Patreon. They're technically from DC Brainiac, but I believe they were also deferred to 2D. So basically, it was like 2D's question through DC Brainiac. I'm just going to go through a couple of them since we don't have too much time. We're over time already, but I do want to get to some. So let's say if they keep escalating the speed meta, what could end up beating it? So the speed meta, so to speak, is basically all these characters that are enabling, turn advantages like Brainiac, Martian Manhunter, and now Cheetah. Also, Lex teams. So basically, the Lex team versus Lex team, whichever team has the faster start will go first usually. So, what do you guys think is gonna end up with this speed meta? And what could beat it?
Oh, I have an easy answer for this. Just make Jay Garrick's passive 100%. Boom, speed meta.
Okay.
I think that would be the best rework ever. I completely agree with Doom. The other thing I always thought would be really fun, if you have either you could just pair him with Chemo or just have a character that applies Doom, another one, but have it so that they overspeed them. So they make them go faster and faster so they skip turns. Almost kind of like a stun, or maybe they speed them up 200% or something so that they die to Doom really fast. It would be fun.
That sounds good. I like that. Like the speed up Doom strategy.
Well,
So like,
I could see it. Like how Dr. Poison increases the duration of bleeds by 1 turn. Have a character that will decrease the duration of debuffs, but will apply damage over time effects instantly. So like if you decrease some bleed stacks, they instantly take the damage for that bleed. You could use that, decrease the cooldown of Doom, and then they die super fast.
that'd be cool.
Because I was thinking maybe if have a character say if this character goes before you, then it happens.
Okay.
Who's the time? The guy that dilates time. I cannot remember his name.
There's a dude that does time? I mean, Dr. Fate.
You're talking about the guy from Doomsday Clock?
Oh.
Like, it might have been him. I don't remember, but I was concepting an idea of a move, and it was apply a stack of Doom, and Rage for 4 turns, and give them 400% turn meter.
Alrighty.
They just literally attack 4 times and die.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it'd be cool, but probably OP.
I was thinking about against the speed meta teams. So the thing about the speed meta teams is like they do a decent amount of damage, but there is sort of like a breaking point in how much damage they can do. So basically, if you can have a team that will last long enough for you to able to like finally be able to take your turn after they take all of theirs, that's another way of going about it too. So I was thinking like an all tank team or like a super heavy built team, right? So like something like I was talking about earlier, team based around like Superman lead or something like that with a bunch of huge tanks. And even though they're taking a lot of turns, if you can withstand the hits and then just dish back the damage when it's your turn, that's the idea. But the problem with the tanks is that they don't always do great damage because of they're built as tanks. So the question is like, if you bring like a bunch of tanks and then some heavy DPS characters, those DPS characters might die before they get their turn. So it's sort of like a balance. I don't know. That's where I was thinking of going about it, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so before we wrap up the Patreon questions, there's one other thing that I did want to touch on because I think it's useful especially for newer players and people with limited rosters. The question here that was about what's an efficient strategy for using bonus tunes in Siege. Now, this is just coming down to math for me, but if you have a limited roster, basically, again, what I was saying before is just use as many characters as you can to get wins. That's the most important thing. But at the same time, if you can fit in a bonus character, do so. But just think about your strategy and how many stars you're going to get in the battle. The next thing is that if you're going to use bonus tunes to get, for example, let's say 6 bonus points or 8 bonus points max, most of the time what you want to be doing is trying to clear out your board so that you can get the board clear 25 point bonus, which is actually pretty significant. That will rake up over time. However, the thing that I calculate most of the time is like when you get down to it, if you're not clearing your boards, if you're using your energy to do revenges, I think that you usually want to be able to try and fit in 3 bonus characters, giving you 6 points, because in terms of energy efficiency, that's sort of the breaking point, right? Because you're getting back, let's say for 2 energy, you're getting back 8 points. So that's pretty good in terms of energy costs, I believe. But I think
You want 3 or more. You want 4 most of the time if you're going to run the revenge. But the revenge allows you to lose characters, so 3 works. If you're playing the regular game, you're trying to force in a bonus tune, it's better to not force in the bonus tune and just not have any or less of them, losing a character because you're losing 5 points.
Exactly. So I remember like if I had like a 20-point team, but I lost like 1 character, I ended up with like just over like with 15 points, or like even like you get down to 13 points. Like if I just had a regular team and got 12 points, that'd have been fine, the same thing, right? So it depends on how many characters you're expecting to lose. And the goal is to not lose any. Okay.
Before we go to, we want to talk lots of questions in chat about raids.
Yeah.
And one of the patrons, I can't remember, said one of the biggest, easiest tips I can tell you right now: X and Hippo, and her.
Yeah. All right. So Lex and Hippo, there you go. That's apparently the team.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. All right.
I mean, we tried every team, and we're at 1.5 billion alliance points. We got this.
So apparently.
Oh no, I'm sure you. I personally enjoy using other teams, so that might be a bit, more conducive. But
fair enough.
it's
Yeah, we're going for speed.
Oh, it's
yeah,
okay.
I get it.
So okay, let's okay, so we have a couple of questions from YouTube. We also have couple of questions. Well, I'm not sure if I wasn't checking Discord all that much, but before we get to that, there's one other thing for announcements for products that we're thinking of making in the future. So Teespring actually just announced that they have pop sockets, which are actually really, really cool things that people use with their phones. So if you guys are interested in having WRL branded pop sockets, that would be something that we could make in the future. The thing that I realized that Teespring wants is that we need to be able to sell at least 100 of them in order to order them. So we have to either pre-order them or order them ahead of time, and we have to foot the cost and sell them back out. So for the people who are interested in pop sockets, we need sort of like a raise of hands kind of thing. So if you can just mention anywhere, either on YouTube, Reddit, Discord, wherever you have contact with us, just let us know that you would be interested in pop sockets and how many you would be thinking of buying. Right off the bat, I'm thinking we're probably going to have the WRL broadcast logo if we make it, and then probably each of our avatar pictures because they're nice circles, so that makes sense. Yeah, but pop sockets, yeah, they're cool. And if you guys don't know what pop sockets are, just go Google pop sockets. They're things that you attach to the back of your phone that make them stand up and you can hold them easier. Okay. Yeah. So let's get to the questions that we had from YouTube. There was a couple of them earlier in the chat. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. Just gonna scroll up here. Okay. So there's a guy, Double MVII, asks, what's the best tip for raids this time? Decent level, bonus tunes, and still can't reach milestone 50. Is there like a raid specific team? We just mentioned the Lex and Hippo team. Apparently that's really fast and really good. My team that we were using was like Lex, Martian Manhunter, Arcus, plus like a fourth if you need the fourth, but then those three by themselves also do decent damage pretty fast. Any other suggestions, guys, other than what we've mentioned so far?
If you're having trouble making milestones, just use one energy and tag the ball. Hit and run.
Oh, the hit and run strategy? Yeah.
And the legendary bosses, but if you're doing the blue boss and you want to do high damage, just run Metallo solo if you have a Mal5.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, any other strats, guys?
When it comes to I don't know if it's really a thing, but I personally go Lex, whatever you want to fill with Riddler and Owlman. It actually ends up paying dividends. Like, it's not too hard to kill bosses just because every hit you do is a crit. He constantly has a ton of agility down, and there's a billion assist calls. So if it's like a Mystic, use WGD. If it's a physical, use Arcus. If it's a Mystic, or if it's a whatever energy, use whoever, Black Adam, say Walker, it doesn't matter.
Alrighty. I think that was actually the only question from YouTube. The other ones were just kind of comments. Does anyone here on Discord have any questions before we wrap things up?
Just a quick comment. I know I was talking about this earlier just a little bit, and since we're talking about the raid and stuff real quick, I do plan on soon, me and Hayden are going to sit down, do a brief podcast I say brief, but we're going to do a podcast on like early on stuff and what you should be doing, how to look at things. And I'm also going to be writing an article series on like step by step. This is the things that you need to look at while you're trying to do raids, and this is what you need to look at while you're trying to do this for like newer players or like those mid-tier players. So if you're, at a point where, I'm a Gear 8, Gear 9 player, how do I tackle these things? I'm going to be writing articles and stuff for you guys soon.
All right, sounds good. Let's see here. So there actually was a couple of other questions. Actually, one other question that came into YouTube right before we wrapped up says, what about the call assist chain of Saint Walker, Hal Jordan, Black Mask, and Hippo? Can it be never ending? And I think the answer to that is no, right? Like it cannot be ever ending.
Yeah, it'll end eventually.
Yeah. They can't just keep calling themselves. Okay, so let me see.
Well, most characters can't call themselves. Saint Walker's the first one that broke that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because the basic wouldn't call himself. Yeah, or wouldn't call someone else. That makes sense. Okay. All right, so let's see. I think that's it for now in terms of questions. I'm completely ignoring Doom's question in the chat because he's basically want to add another hour onto the podcast with that question.
Sorry. I never get to come on these things. I want to spend time with you guys.
Whose
You
fault
want to
is
spend
that?
time ranting.
Whose fault is that, Doom?
Exactly. Anyways, yeah. Apparently, Doom is like the favorite child or the favorite cast member here. So we need more Doom in this. Apparently, that's what.
Oh, that's
No. So that's the problem. If he came on more often, people would be sick of him.
We'd have
that's
two
what that
hour-long
was
podcasts
Doom's
every
take
time.
actually, that he likes to be
All right. So
demand.
Let's wrap
Rare.
things up. I'm gonna cut things short here, but let's wrap things up because we're running long in the tooth. But as we do at the end of every show, we're going to give some shout outs. And we've got lots of shout outs this month, let me say. So
It was a good month.
yeah, this is the patrons were coming out. They were showing their love. My God. So first of all, shout outs to Fries and Airplane 609, our newest Lex Luthor level patron. So should these guys get the topic suggestions at the end of the month? Actually, I also forgot that our Zatanna level patrons also get the shout outs at the end of the month. Sorry, they get the topic suggestions as well. So Big Spoon as well, one of our newest Zatanna level patrons, and DC Brainiac recently upgraded to the Zatanna level. So they also get the topic suggestions for the end of the month. And then we've got a lot of new other patrons as well, with Brandon B, Greg H, Robert, Monty Y, David W, Simon, Tim F, Marcus R, Dennis M, Ankit S, and Joshua P. You guys are great. Thank you so much for all your patronage. And if you guys want to be heroes like these guys to help us keep the lights on, feel free to join us over on Patreon at patreon.com/WROL broadcasts. Also, as we were mentioning about the store, it's teespring.com/stores/WROL broadcast. Go check out our merchandise over there. And if you're interested again about the pop sockets, we do need to at least pre-order about 100 of them. Sorry, not 1,000, 100 of them, if we want to get that rolling. So if you're
We had some people ask how much they cost.
I would
as well.
say I think the minimum is $10 US. So we're gonna probably base it on how much our profit margin is going to be on them, because if we're gonna have to order 100 of them, that's like, think about it, it's gonna be like $1,000, right? So if we put it at $10, so, and I think
It's a bit much.
Yeah. So the pre-order way the system works, I believe, I have to double check with Teespring, is that people who are willing to order them, they put their money down first, and then once we get 100 of them, we fulfill the order. That way we don't have to foot the cost of it, right? So if that is the case, we'll make it happen that way. But I would probably try and want to just get them out at the minimum bare cost to make them produced. So it would be $10 probably plus shipping. So for those of you guys interested. All right. And yeah, that's it. So anything else, guys, before we wrap up? Nothing else?
I think that's it. I will be probably going to do some live streams of Mercy and take her up almost immediately.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So I guess with that, we'll say good night, guys, or good day. See you later, guys.
I'm going back to bed.
Deal?
Cheers.
See you later. All right.
Later.